Now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with the Game Boy Geek.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we're taking a look at one of the sequels to Love Letter. We're talking about Lost Legacy, we're talking about the Flying Garden version here. This is supposed to, Lost Legacy in general is the sequel to Love Letter. It's supposed to be a little more gamery, like Love Letter 2.0-ish. Let's take a look. Does it live up to the Love Letter hype? In Lost Legacy Flying Garden, we have a draw deck here. We have one card that's placed here called starts the Ruins. Everybody will get one card to start the game, and then when it's your turn, start player, you get to actually draw another card. So once your turn, you'll have two cards in your hand. Now these would be hidden in my hand. Nobody else would know what I have. But here I would get to choose which card to play. I would discard it in front of me and I would do the action that it says. Also, this tells you how many cards of each of these there are. This tells me there's 3 of these curse cards. It's a number 8. If it's in the middle, it's just 1. So this is the only Guardian card. I could play this and collect all players' hands without looking at them, shuffle the cards face down, and then deal each player a card at random. So if you think somebody has cards that you don't want them to have, you can mess them up with the Guardian. The curse, name a number from 1 to 8, and look at another player's hand. If that card matches, that player's eliminated. You're trying to also eliminate people or find the Lost Legacy in this game. So I would play, let's say I played this and I guessed and I was wrong, it would go to the next player. And the next player would pick up one card, they'd have 2 to choose from, and so on and so forth. Let me show you what all the different other cards do. The Saint is a number 1. Now, having a low number is very important because at the end of the game, if people aren't all eliminated, having a low number is going to allow you to investigate to try to find the Lost Legacy earlier than other people. So the Saint, if you'd be eliminated and have the Saint face up in your discards, discard your hand, flip the Saint face down, then draw a card as your new hand. Essentially, this gives you like one not free out of jail, but you get to basically get killed once and flip this over so you don't get eliminated. A wound. If a wound is added to your discards and you already have any wounds in your discards, you're eliminated. So if you have one of these and you get another one, you're out. Storyteller, during the investigation phase, which is at the end, if there's more than one person that's still left and the draw deck is empty, we go to that investigation phase. We'll talk about that in a moment. Each storyteller in your discards allows you to make an additional investigation. Normally you only get 1. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Look up to 2 cards in the Ruins. You may exchange one of those with your card in your hand. Maybe there's something better there. Maybe there's the Lost Legacy there. False Rumors, draw 2 cards, then place a card from your hand in any player's discards and another in the Ruins. So you can basically put things down, maybe a wound on an opponent, or maybe you could sneak the Lost Legacy into the Ruins. Necromancer, return any player's discards to the deck, then shuffle the deck. Maybe there's only one of the cards that he played, and you really want to get those, and you can put that back in the deck. And then there's the Flying Lost Legacy. Basically, this is what you're trying to get at the end of the game. Let's talk about that investigation phase. Once the draw deck runs out, if there's more than one person that's still alive, that's not eliminated, we go to the investigation phase. And then we start with whoever has the lowest number in their hand. So we'll call it, does anybody have a 1? And if so, that person would go first. When I investigate, I can investigate my own hand, I can investigate someone else's hand and pick one card, or I can investigate the Ruin and pick one card. What I'm trying to do is hopefully find the Lost Legacy and win the game. If I don't find it with my one choice, I don't get to win. Unless, in this case, I have the Storyteller, which allows me to make more than one investigation. But other than that, you essentially are trying to investigate. You get one chance to try to find a Lost Legacy. So you win by either being the last person alive and everyone else is gone, or you win by finding the Lost Legacy wherever it is. But there's a chance that nobody finds a Lost Legacy, even through the investigation phase, and in that case, nobody wins. And you would play this depending on how many players you have. A point is if you win a round. So with 2 players, you'd play till someone has won 7 times, or with 5+ players, you'd win till someone won twice. And that's the end of the game. When I first heard about Lost Legacy, I was so excited because Love Letter is one of my favorite games. And I was just like, oh, a more complex Love Letter, a gamer version of Love Letter. Let's do it. This sounds great. And this is the Flying Garden version. I must say that I do like this version more than the Starship version. The cool thing of having the Saint, almost having you can get killed once and it doesn't do anything to you. Things like that. I did like it. But I still don't like this nearly as much as Love Letter, and it doesn't give me the same feeling. It's still streamlined and it's still easy to play. It only has a little bit of complexness to it, but for some reason it doesn't have that X factor. It doesn't just grab you the way that Love Letter does. And even today I played Love Letter probably over 50 times, and it still has that feeling for me, and I love it, where this never gave me a feeling even close to that. But I do like it better than Starship. It's okay, it's not a terrible game, but it's just, it didn't wow me. It didn't have that boom, that factor that just blows up when you play it. But if you really like Love Letter, but you thought it was a little too light, then maybe this is something that you'd like to check out. That's my opinion on the Lost Legacy Flying Garden.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.